Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Truth Talks. I am your host, Krayzie Bone.
I'm the co-host of Bum Keith G.
Yes, indeed. And right about now, since we're entering into that stressful time of the season for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Meaning the holiday season. The season where y'all go spend all y'all money up, you know what I'm saying?
Hard-earned money.
And then be in debt by the new year.
By tax time.
Yeah, then be in debt by the new year. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But, I would like to speak on... We're going to speak on some of the truths about these holiday traditions and how and where they originated. Now, we ain't going to have time to talk about all of them today because, I want to address them as they come. We're going to address them as they come because, we in we're in that time of the season to where, they're going to be hitting us back to back to back. They're going to be in your pockets back to back to back in your pockets.
But right now, we knocking on the October 31st right now.
Yes, indeed. With that being said, we are in the month of October, and I want to talk to y'all about Halloween.
Shit, let's
go. Now, I know Halloween is a lot of y'all's favorite holiday.
Dress up.
What was your favorite holiday coming up as a kid?
Mine's really was, as a kid, everybody look forward to that Christmas, man. Because you look here, even
whether
you want it or not, because you want something.
Always want something.
Because look, you know what, and I'm not even gonna get into this kind of thing right there because in the, maybe minority communities or black communities, whatever it is that don't really got nothing, you look for a couple of things to happen. You look for the first day of school because you're gonna get some school clothes. You look for Christmas because you're gonna get the things that you've been asking for all the time that you might not get. You might get some of those things. So Christmas is what I was looking for, G.
Christmas, okay.
But them first day of school clothes wasn't no joke.
Okay, so but since we talking about Halloween,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
I like that too, though.
The whole thing is, do people truly understand the origins of this particular holiday of Halloween?
Not even sure.
No, we ain't trying to rain on your parades or you know what I'm saying.
Ain't trying to stop your weekend party. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. We just analyze.
Because people are going to do what they do, but it's a lot of people. I know that it's a lot of people that don't know. You know what I'm saying? The origins of where it comes from,
right?
And actually what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real serious. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to be very careful about, these traditions that we allow ourselves to get caught up in.
That's a true statement there.
And the trends that we follow. I know some of y'all is probably going to be thinking throughout this podcast, what's the big deal? It's only a holiday where people dress up and have fun.
Yeah, why y'all making a deal out of it or, bringing knowledge to it? You know what I'm saying?
That may be true, and some of y'all may look at it as just having a good time. Of course we may think that way as human beings.
Right.
That's how we're going to think. But on this podcast, we always talk about
straight truth.
The truth. And just because man does something, how does God feel about it?
Yeah, it don't always mean God look at it the same kind of way. Just like what you were saying, we run into a lot of traditions that we do, and a lot of people do things that they actually don't even know, like, why am I celebrating this, or why am I even doing this thing? Why do I even hate this person? Why are we doing this holiday on this day?
Yeah, now, if you don't care what God think about this, then you know what I'm saying, we're not making you listen to this podcast.
Talk to them.
You know what I'm saying? However, I do know that there's a lot of people indulging and participating in these holidays in ignorance.
Yeah.
Not because they're stupid, but just because they lack the knowledge and not knowing about what's behind these days. You know what I'm saying? So, going back to the question, about how God feels about these days.
Especially Halloween, since that's the one we on right now.
But before we talk about that, though, you know what I'm saying? Before we talk about what he thinks, I want to read something from the encyclopedia.
All right.
And it says, elements of customs connected with Halloween can be traced to a Druid, ancient Celtic priesthood, ceremony in pre-Christian times. The Celts had festivals for two major gods, a sun god and the god of the dead, whose festivals was held on November 1st, the beginning of the Celtic New Year, the Festival of the Dead was gradually incorporated into Christian ritual. So,
God of the Dead. You know what? So,
God of the Dead. That's the thing that they
that mural last night when we was at the studio.
Yeah, the mural they had in the last night. I walked in there. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yo, it's a trip though too, because when I talked to Tiffany about doing the business for the Australia trip coming up soon, she was like, today shut down in Australia because of they celebrating that same thing down there, way down under on the reels, like some kind of what they say. Australian music god or whatever it is. That's what she hit today. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I had no idea that they really celebrate that thing all over the place too. And I had no. That's where it derived from. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's where it. That's basically where it.
Now nothing's wrong with memorializing your peoples and thinking about your peoples on different times, but not. I don't know. This one I'm kind of confused about. I've never really looked into it. You know what I'm saying?
So first of all, it says that this festival was held in behalf of a sun god and a god of the dead. So this is two different gods. And if you know anything about God, you already know that he's a jealous God.
That's what he say.
And he tells us that there are no more gods.
One God.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he constantly reminds us of that. You know,
this is the only thing, and excuse me for even interrupting on this. This is the only thing that will never. I apologize for a lot of things because I don't want people to interpret this wrong. That I'm on that and that and this, but one God is the only thing that I'm on. I never was ever going to be on saying like, it's okay to have another God because it's only one true and living God that care about us. You know what I'm saying? So if people get a manufactured God, a God of the sun, I don't want no God of the sun or God of the sea or a God of the wind. I want a God of all of those things. You know what I'm saying? And the God that I serve is that, that's that. And that's just how I feel about that real quick.
Yeah, for real. And then it says that the traditions of Halloween were gradually incorporated into the Christian ritual. So, so this holiday origin didn't come from God. You know what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with God. It came from a place that was deemed unclean by God.
Word.
So no matter how we try to make it clean, you know what I'm saying?
But I like what you said with that word. You know what I'm saying? The word you're saying, it was like kind of like it slipped into there a little bit, piece by piece, integrated little bit by little bit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly what word you said, but just little bit by little bit. Because that's how they beat you down with something, like a little bit of water drop. It'll actually, you know what I'm saying, tear through your face or something like that. So if you put a little bit of poison, like, oh, it's okay to just do this. It's okay to do that kind of thing. But the celebration of what we're saying, if you want to dress up, we not knocking that kind of thing. But to be actually behind the standing of a sun god and a god of the dead, cut it out. Come on.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, not to like rain down on your parade or like, you know what I'm saying, just like want y'all to know. Because like these things like are some things related to inviting bad things into your life.
Invoking evil spirits, yeah.
Right, and inviting some very bad things into your life that a lot of people know nothing about, so that's why it can really, really hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people be like, like you're making a big deal out of nothing, but like that's the whole thing. We've become what they call it, desensitized to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not just starting in these days and times, starting way back then.
Man, shoot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because like a few hundred years ago, people would have never, well, they did. You know what I'm saying? But fewer people would have thought about celebrating a day like this.
It gets so way out like that because it reminded me of a time when one time Moses had to go holler at God real quick because he the one that used to go holler at God a lot of the time for the children of Israel. He left this one time, had his brother Aaron down there kicking it. I guess they thought Moses was going for a while. The children of Israel wanted a God like everybody else got, so they took all their gold and silver and all the diamonds or whatever it is that they had that they left Egypt with. They made them a golden calf. Then we're going to worship that because we want something to identify with. And that's the same kind of spirit that the evil always wants to invoke on people of God. They want to have God's people living backwards and doing anything but recognizing him. I ain't saying nothing wrong with going trick-or-treating. Hell, I done went trick-or-treating before. Hell, I done got some tricks that wasn't even no treat. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, I ain't trying to stand on no thing or saying I ain't did this or I ain't did that. But once you got recognized and got a little bit of knowledge of something, that's the only reason we talking about this show here on Truth Talk, because we want to educate y'all and get y'all to be like, you know what? Okay, if I am going to a Halloween party, I know I'm not going to celebrate no damn dead. And I know I'm not going to celebrate no sun god. Me and my kids and dressed up and we wanted to go trick-or-treating around the neighborhood, and that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? Some innocent stuff like that. I can understand if it derived on something evil, but you took it to something that's like, hey, we're going to have a family fun.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it could be understood, you know, again, if people is misinformed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, for people to say, you know what I'm saying, it's an illustration that I read, you know what I'm saying, to saying, okay, like, if I was walking down the street, if me and you was walking down the street and it was a lollipop on the ground and it was covered with dirt and ants and that, you know, like all kind of dirt, and I picked it up and was like, here, gave it to you, would you put it in your mouth?
How long it been there?
This nigga's stupid.
I'm just playing. Nah, hell no, of course not.
So if I took that same lollipop and took it in the house, washed it off, scrubbed it, and gave it to you, would you put it in your mouth?
Then I'd be like, man, thank you, gave me something cool. I would, because you disguised it.
Yeah.
No. If I didn't know, is what I'm saying.
Most people still wouldn't put that lollipop in their mouth because they know that it came from somewhere unclean.
No, I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying if I didn't know originally that you brought it, like got it from the ground, I thought you were saying you cleaned it off.
No. You saw me pick it up off the ground and take it in there and wash it out.
No, I don't want that.
Right, because you know it came from somewhere unclean.
Yeah.
That's the same thing God is saying. This came from somewhere unclean, so... This came from somewhere unclean, so stay away from it. I don't care how they done try to take it and polish it up and sit it on the shelf and like.
I could dig that. I understand what you're saying.
There's nothing wrong with this. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? This is nice.
I love analogies, and that was one right there, bro.
No matter what people say, you know what I'm saying? Like just because man says it's cool, don't mean it's always cool.
Yeah.
Just because they legalize something don't mean you should you still shouldn't partake in it. You know what?
That's true too. You know what I'm saying?
Like for real.
That's true.
Because his standards is way above what our standards are.
Far above our standards, yo. His thoughts process. He said his thoughts is as far as from the heavens is from the earth. That's how far his mind state is from our mind state. That's real right there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Man, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So,
how do you this is what I'm tripping off. That's why I know it was so accepted, especially in America, because America is the standard point, and like the mecca of things to be approved on or what they let everybody do. It's just that ever since a kid, Halloween has been pumped as a holiday just so much, And that's really a time of you see witches and goblins, and it derives from such a wicked place. Every movie around it, they sit right now, this whole week, you watch on TNT or any other shows and stuff, Halloween showing, Exorcist, all kind of things that just derive of, stuff that just make you scared to go to the bathroom if you a little kid. They pump fear in your heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, what kind of holiday is this to celebrate at the first anyway? I used to do it because we'd go to class and they say, okay, you don't have to have the full class today. We're gonna have almost a potluck kind of thing, and we're gonna stop studying and you put your costume on. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
I was with that because I'm like, hell, I didn't want to go to school anyway. So that kind of brought me into the situation like, man, it's Halloween. And that is kind of messed up to impersonate that on somebody's mind state like that, without the facts behind it of it. Because I'm a grown man just learning that it was the sun god and, the god of the dead.
So to break it down real quick, Halloween histories and customs, just so you know, just to break it down a bit further, I'm going to read it a little more.
Let it be broke.
It says, Samhain, the origin of Halloween can be traced back to this ancient pagan festival celebrated by Celtic people over 2,000 years ago, states the World Book Encyclopedia. The Celts believed that the dead could walk among the living at this time during Samhain. the living could visit with the dead. However, the Bible clearly teaches that the dead are conscious of nothing at all. Thus, they cannot contact the living.
That's right.
Number 2, it says Halloween customs, candies, and trick-or-treat. According to the book Halloween, an American holiday in American history, some of the Celts wore ghoulish costumes so that the wandering spirits would mistake them for one of their own and leave them alone. Others offered sweets to the spirits to appease them. In medieval Europe, the Catholic clergy adopted local pagan customs and had their adherents go from house to house wearing costumes and requesting small gifts. The Bible, on the other hand, does not permit merging false religious practices with worship of God.
That's way out right there, man.
Number 3. Now, this was surprising, will be surprising to a lot of people that don't know. Ghosts, vampires, werewolves, witches, and zombies. These have all been long associated with the evil spirit world.
Yep.
The Bible clearly states that we should oppose wicked spirit forces, not celebrate with them.
Or damn werewolf. Now, ever since I was a kid,
I just gonna pull that one out. I think the damn werewolf.
Yeah. Boy, him, Frankenstein, Dracula, all them kind of people like that. Witches, all them have been people that has been impressed into our brain as like these is people who like actually live. They promoted them more than they promote God. You know what I'm saying? They promote and the damn Easter Bunny too.
Let me read number 4. It says Halloween pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns. In medieval Britain, supplicants moved from door to door asking for food in return for a prayer for the dead, or they would carry hollowed-out turnip lanterns, whose candles connoted a soul trapped in purgatory. Others say that the lanterns were used to ward off spirits. During the 1800s in North America, pumpkins replaced turnips because they were plentiful, as well as easy to hollow out and carve. The belief behind this custom, the immorality of the soul, purgatory, and prayers for the dead are not based on the Bible.
Nah, man.
So, just reading these things, giving this information, because the information, if you really sit back and you think about it and you research it yourself and you meditate on it, it really makes so much sense and it's logical.
Yeah.
It's very logical. We all struggling to, to get to a place to better ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the more truth we know, that's the only way we gonna get there.
That's why I guess why some people like ignorance, because ignorance is bliss. And they could just stay there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ignorance ain't a bad word. That just means you don't know something. You know what I'm saying? You just ain't learned that kind of thing. But with this, now, whoever's listening, now it's kind of too late because you just learned something. You know what I'm saying? So you're not ignorant no more. Now you got to make a choice.
Yeah, really. I mean, you can pretty much look out and see what's going on in this world right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at, bro, I was looking at the news today. It's like every other country is they protesting and they at war. They like it's crazy.
Yeah, they ain't seeing eye to eye if they was on the same height.
This world as we know it is coming to its climax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, truth. That's why our show is called Truth Talks, because we look for truth and we do the research and we like, whatever is logical, whatever makes sense. And like we say, don't take our word for it. You can research the same thing or do your research.
We encourage you.
But like, just go look for something, because I'm telling you, like, you're going to have some knowledge to be able to get through what's coming.
Man, encourage you to do your own research. Study for yourself. It's been said already, and Paul said to Timothy, study for yourself. Show yourself a workman approved. Not being ashamed to rightly divide the word of truth. You know what I'm saying? And forgive me if it wasn't in the same exact way it's supposed to be like that, but just that kind of thing. Study your own self. Don't believe just what we just say. We inspire you to go ahead and look it up yourself and understand these kind of things. Say, hey, you know what? These are some things, and I got to learn from my faults. And I could learn from the different things that I made mistakes from. That's what a man and woman do. I thought I was supposed to go left. No, you supposed to go right. Well, tomorrow I can say, hell, I went right.
And after reading all this stuff we just read about, about these the spirits and where all this stuff come from, you can see, the guy really got a really good reason for telling us to stay away from this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's actually for our own protection, because when you dabble in these customs, customs or holidays, especially one like this, I feel, you know what I'm saying, you can become. This is what invites, this is what invites that evil stuff into your house, like, for real.
It really do.
You don't want that.
Dog, it really do. Look, even
what they say, you don't want that smoke.
You don't want that kind of. You don't even want that kind of.
You don't want that smoke in your house. You know
not
what I'm
that
saying?
smoke. Man.
Honestly, you know what I'm saying. You're not even supposed to watch like movies about magic and sorcerers but see, that's too.
Because it's tempting. That kind of stuff.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks tempting.
No. But it's been made to look. They normalized it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's been made to seem normal. You know what I'm saying?
What's that movie with the werewolf and the?
How do you make it normal? You do stuff like Teenage Wolf.
That's what I'm saying.
The Teenage Werewolf, or
what's the one with the Dracula and the werewolf?
Buffy. You know what I'm saying? Like you make it like.
They had about 4.
You make it appealing to the younger generation.
What's the 4 of the movies, man? They had a werewolf and a Dracula and this one girl that they both fighting for. Dracula want her and the werewolf dude want her. Her name Bella. Twilight and them. Yeah. Look here. They done normalized Twilight so much. Look, he driving Volvos, family rich. You know what I'm saying? He don't never die and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? His whole family, everybody kicking it and stuff like that. She broke as hell. Her daddy gave her a truck for her birthday. Nobody want that. He driving Volvos. That make the Drac look like he just like James Dean in that movie. All the girls wanted that dude. They make it look sexy and appealing, and he got little magic powers, and he could bite her, and she could live forever too. Man, I don't want to live forever with no damn Draculas. You know what I'm saying? All they want to do is get some blood, and they don't even really care where they get that blood from. I seen them.
Yeah, man. Real talk.
On the real, they was just hunting in the jungle, dog. But to teenagers, we adults, but to teenagers, it looks real tempting. Dracula just looked real cool, got the little cape on and stuff like that. Even Frankenstein had his moments. You know what I'm saying? I kind of felt sorry when they were storming his castle. We talked about that a little earlier today, but for real. Because that's the way they want people to look at these characteristic things and make it look normal. They want to put it into our normal lives, you know?
So one of the reasons, I wanted to do this episode about this particular holiday was because, I get a lot of questions from a lot of people, like they hit me on Instagram, like asking me stuff like that we talk about on the show, and just asking me questions about a lot of things, And if you're one of those people that's trying to figure their way out of this world, you're trying to walk a straight path, then it's important to know the truth, just like we said.
Yeah.
That's why when we figured the name out for this show, we was like, that's perfect, because we want to, that's the only way you're going to come out of this and understand what's expected of you. You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of misinformation given, a lot of propaganda passed around for a very long time. But guess what? The truth talks, and it speaks very loudly.
You just got to listen, you know what I'm saying?
And we got to keep making sure, like we always say, we got to keep making sure what's acceptable to God, and not what's and don't worry about what man is thinking, because no matter how much they live in, it may be looking good.
Oh, it looks good.
It may be looking like they enjoying the hell out themselves, but
man, it's
like we say, that's the reward in full.
It's somewhere in Psalms. I don't know exactly where it's said again. You guys got to probably look it up and I'll find it for you. But it's a man of God that said, hey, my foot almost slipped when I seen the prosperity of the wicked. But he said it wasn't till I got down to the church house. And I'm paraphrasing. You know what I'm saying? That I realized the standard and what I'm supposed to be doing and stuff. That basically means he like, man, y'all living without a care in the world. Y'all riding chariots. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Eating grapes. You know what I'm saying? The people doing all the things. But he like, you know what? Those are pleasures of this world. This world gonna show us a lot of things that seems good to a man. It seems right to a man and to a woman. No need to exclude them too, because y'all peoples and stuff with us. But I'm saying it's set like that, so it will distract knowledge. Knowledge is kind of like a workout. When you're working out, it don't really feel good unless you on steroids. You know what I'm saying? But to me, when I work out, I'm like, man, this is hard. When I'm on that 25th and 27th push-up or whatever it is, I'm like, dude, but I know the outcome's going to be good. It's something that's good for you. Knowledge and the word of God is the same kind of way. You got to kind of get into it like that. It's not going to be the most comfortable, I want to do this. It's not that just easy to just want to go discipline yourself. I'm not just such a disciplined guy. But that's the best thing for you, man. This world got a lot of tricks, man. And I'm kind of tired of them even tricking me into things. You know what I'm saying? They should show me from day one, this is good, QG. This the best thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And I've been a fool for a lot of things too, man. That's what we sitting here as experienced people who've been through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? We ain't not did nothing that y'all ain't did too. So, you know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna catch us guilty of saying, oh, man, we ain't did that. Hey, man, you put it on the chalkboard. I could say yeah to all those things almost, except for faggotry and messing with kids. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing. I done stole things and did all that kind of things. People can call me all that, but that ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm not excluding those peoples neither, because it's room for everybody. But with knowledge, man, you got to kind of just turn different a little bit. It ain't never too late to be like, you know what, tomorrow's a better way for me.
Yes, indeed. And we're not trying to put a damper on your holiday season, or I think we did.
Yeah, it's too late now. Ain't nobody getting candy now.
but man, again, I just want to make sure y'all are aware of what you're putting your energy into and what's behind it. This podcast was created to inform and enlighten and to bring the truth out of the darkness.
Word.
I mean, bring the truth out of the darkness and into the light. You know what I'm saying? So, Again, we thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Truth Talks. Make sure y'all subscribe. Truth Talks at KrazyBoneMusic.com. Also at radio.com. You know what I'm saying? And we'll check y'all out on the next episode, man. And remember, the truth is always talking.
You just got to shut up and listen.
Shut up and listen. Peace.